In this tutorial, I'm going to install Samba in Ubuntu, and then I'm going to create a shared folder with a file, and then I'll open it up and connect to it from a Windows machine. So to do this, I'm going to open a terminal. Okay, I'm going to do a sudo apt-get update to update my repositories first. Okay. All right. I'll clear that. Now that they're updated, I'm going to do a sudo apt-get install Samba. Okay, and it's going to go out and it's going to pick up the packages that I need to run Samba. And you can see down here at the bottom it says smbd start. It gives me the process for the Samba daemon. And then it says nmbd start, and this is for like some type of NetBIOS type daemon, and that gives me a process number. So that started. So that's it. I've got Samba running now. Now for many people running Ubuntu, the Samba server fails on the nmbd startup, and so I'll show you how you can fix that also. So don't worry if you didn't see Samba and then nmbd startup. Don't worry, I'll show you how you can fix that too. Okay, so now that we have that started, I'm going to clear this. And now that you have Samba started, you still have to configure a shared folder and all that. So first thing you want to do is edit the configuration file, and we can do that, and then I'll show you how to fix the nmbd. Okay, so I'm going to do a sudo gedit /etc/samba /smb.conf, and then space and an ampersand sign to background the process. Let's see if I have that spelled correctly. I do. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to want to open up this Samba configuration file, and you're going to want to make sure that in the global settings that, let's say, work group here, notice it says equals work group in all caps. Well, this is going to be the name of your work group in Windows, and since the default work group in Windows is work group, all capitals, then that works fine. Then down here in, let's see here, authentication, make sure that security equals user, and that looks good. All right, and then down here all the way at the bottom we're going to add our shared folder. You can see here that I actually already have it configured, so you could just copy what I have here. So in a bracket, you can have open bracket, the word share, close bracket, and then comment equals Ubuntu file server share. You can put whatever comment you want here, you know, my Samba server share, right? Then the path, this is going to be the path to your shared folder, and so in this case the shared folder is going to be the name share, and it's going to be in another directory called Samba, and that's going to be in the directory srv. And I read online that this is a recommended way of doing this, that this is a recommended place, the srv directory is a recommended place to put shares. Okay, browsable, you'll set it equal to yes, and that will make sure that Windows users can browse it. Guest OK equals yes. That's supposed to allow you to log in without a password, although in my experience you need a password regardless. Read only equals no. That'll allow people to read and write to your share. So if you don't want people to write to your shared folder, you might want to check that, change that to yes, and see if that works for you. And then this is a mask for all of the files that you'll be creating in the share and directories that you're creating by default. If you create one, it should set it to 755 property. So this is what you're going to want to add at the bottom of your configuration file, your SMB configuration file. Okay, so once you have that done, you can close that out, right? And then let's see here. You have to make sure that you now have that directory. So to make that directory, I'm going to do a sudo, okay, mkdir Okay, so sudo make directory, right? Dash P will make any of the directories if they're missing. So this is going to be in the SRV folder, and then if you don't have one, this will get made anyway, Samba directory, and in there you're going to have another directory called share, right? So you're going to make those directories, all right? And so that's done, all right? So sudo make directory P serve Samba share. Okay, let's go see if we have it there. So I'll do a change directory into the SRV, and then I'll do an ls, and you'll see there's a folder called Samba. And if I change directory into that, or I just say ls Samba, you can see there's a folder called share. So I have the two folders that I need. All right, so that looks pretty good. The other thing you're going to want to do is, once you've made the directories that you need, you're also going to want to change the ownership. So we'll do that right now. I'll clear this out. Okay, I'm going to do a sudo chown, which is going to change the ownership to nobody. So the owner will be nobody. Right now the owner's root. So sudo chown nobody, and then for the group it'll be no group. And that'll change the group from root. So chown nobody dot no group, and then space, and then what you want to change the ownership for. So / root srv samba, and I'm going to change the ownership for the folder called share. All right, and so that's good. We'll say cd change directory into srv samba. We'll go to that directory, and then I'll do a list long, and you can see here that this directory share, right, belongs to nobody, no group. Now what we want to do is I want to show you what to do if you need to change the nmbd file. So if you need to do that, what you'll do is you'll do a sudo gedit, okay, and you're going to go into the etc folder, into the init folder, and you're going to want to change the nmbd.conf file. At the end I'm going to put a space and then an ampersand so I can background this process. All right, and then what you want to do is if the NetBIOS name server, basically, I guess that's what this is, this process is NetBIOS name server nmbd. If it's not starting up for you, what you can do is you can just comment out these two lines right here. So you can just put in a # here and a # here, and it'll still work. So you see, I could save that right now. Okay, save. Right, and now what I can do is I can do a sudo restart smbd. Okay, and I'm going to do a sudo restart nmbd. Okay, and that's restarted, and so now I have share. Now the other thing you're going to want to do is we need to have a file that we're going to try to see on our Windows machine. Right now we don't have anything in that share, right? So if I go, list long or list srv, right, samba shared folder, and I look inside there, well, actually I put a text, previously I put a file in there, right? So you see it, there's whatsup.txt is in there. So you might need to put a file in there. So what you want to do is say sudo touch /srv /samba /share /test.txt. And if you do that, it will create a test file into your folder. And just to double check that it's there, do an ls, right, and you can see there now I have a folder called test.txt, right? And what I might want to do is check the permissions on that file. All right, and you can see here that the file there is a read write read read for that file. So we'll see if that shows up in the share from Windows. Okay, now if you want to check and access your share, what you want to do is go to Start, and I'm going to go to Network, and right away if I just go to Start Network, I can see my connected pieces here. Or you could go to your Network and Sharing Center, right? And you go to Network and Sharing Center, and you go to View Computers and Devices, and you can see if there's any shared computers out there, and you'll see here that there's Dan, my virtual box, right? And when you double click on this, now when you get here you might have to turn on sharing, so as you can see here I have sharing and discovery on. So if you don't have sharing and discovery on, this is a Vista machine, you will have to turn that on for this to work. Okay, so once you have sharing and discovery on, then you'll be able to see any shared folders that are out there, computers that have shares. So there is my Samba share, and when I double click on it I had to put in my username and password, and my username in this case was Dan at the name of your computer, so Dan at my computer name, and then I put in my password and I was able to get in. So once again, you're going to have to put in your password, and it's going to be Dan, your name, your username, then the @ symbol, and then the name of your computer. And then you'll put in your password also. Once you're in, you can see here if I have Samba shared printers or I have shared folders, I can go, and there's my folder. Notice the folder's named share because I named it share in Linux. If I go in there, you'll see there's my 2 files. I can open up test, right? And I could probably add some text to it. So I'll open it here. I've got Komodo editor, and I can say hello and file save, and I'm not sure, I don't have permission to save this, right? So that's a permission that's set in Linux. I don't have permission to save that. But let's look at this other file. This one, right? Hello, and I'll say hello again, right? And hit file save. And I do have permission to save that. So now back in Linux I can go open up that file and see if it worked.